now it's time to come alive. Perfect Turd Podcast 65.
Clever, clever, clever. I did not see that coming. Good job, Joe. We're starting this one off right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we watched a Leprechaun movie.
Yeah, we did. We watched Leprechaun in the Hood, and this is the 5th entry, right?
I think so. I don't know how I never saw the one that came before this, so I don't know how that one ended, but somehow he's the leprechaun, he's back to being a stone version of himself, and he's in this like the subway or the sewer or something. Mac Daddy, who's Ice-T, he plays Mac Daddy. He's looking for gold, and somehow he knows there's gold in the sewer.
Yes.
They find it. They take his gold chain. He comes to life. The leprechaun kills his friend. But luckily, Ice-T, he's very resourceful, you see, Lamar.
Well,
he's got weapons. Where does he keep his weapons?
In his afro. Because he has a bat. He has another gun. And what else did he have?
He had a gun. Then he pulled a knife.
A knife, yeah.
And then, he was disarmed from the knife. Then he pulled a full bat out of his afro.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, it sets up the tone of this movie very quickly. So, yeah, those afros back in the 70s, very resourceful.
So basically, he steals the leper. He gets him to turn back to stone, but he steals his whistle. You flash forward many years. Now he's a successful rapper because the whistle can like brainwash people basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then, anyways, the rest of the story is just crazy crap. These other 3 guys that want to be famous rappers, they need money, so they decide to steal the gold.
Let's go through their names.
Yeah.
Postmaster P, not Master P, Postmaster P. Because he's about positivity.
And he delivers a positive message. So he's the postmaster. Why not?
Stray Bullet.
Yep.
And he's the backup guy. And then Butch is the DJ who made fun of for being a virgin.
Yeah. There were some funny jokes with that.
Yes.
Yeah. So they need to fix their equipment so they can, do their performance. So they go to steal Mac Daddy's gold, which is actually the leprechaun's gold. So they unleash the leprechaun into the hood. Yes. And that's basically the movie.
Yeah, and it gets right to it. And I guess, like, story-wise, it's pretty much them running from the leprechaun and Mac Daddy, while Mac Daddy is trying to kill the leprechaun also. And they are also trying to kill the leprechaun. But they also steal the whistle, which is giving them, because they suck as rappers, and so they play the whistle, and then people like their music all of a sudden, and so that gives them the power of just people flocking to them with their horrible music and everything like that. Yeah.
And the leprechaun uses his powers to get fly girls.
Yes. Randomly.
Yeah, it's never really explained. It just kind of happens, but okay.
Just beautiful women just show up, help him with his evil plots.
Yeah.
I
mean, this movie, I thought it was going to be awesome because it's got a funny premise, the leprechaun in the hood. There were some moments where it was a lot of fun. The best characters for me in this movie were the side characters. The blind grandma, the pawn shop guy, the Asian shop owner. They had a preacher. I liked all those characters. The main characters were dumb.
Yeah, it's like they kept on getting into real dumb situations.
Yes.
And then Postmaster P just kind of came off flat.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, eh. The DJ was kind of funny because they always make fun of him for being a virgin and stuff like that.
He's not just a DJ and the virgin, but he's also he's like the science guy.
Very interesting. Let's break down this scene. So there's one scene, they hide out in a trans woman's apartment.
Right.
And the trans woman is killed, but then they hide in the bathroom, and then they hatch a plan to get the leprechaun.
Yeah, to light him on fire, basically.
Yeah.
And of course, as we've learned, apparently from this movie, is that if you combine douche material and lubricating jelly and electricity that becomes extremely flammable. And you can make him. He's like MacGyver, and
Yes.
he's like MacGyver. So
out of nowhere, yeah,
out of nowhere. So so there was that. That was interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was a good character, but ultimately, I found most of the characters uninteresting, other than the Leprechaun, I guess.
Yeah, like I think they could have just took out like the Postmaster P character altogether.
Yeah,
because he was kind of flat, decent actor, but it's kind of like it's Leprechaun in the Hood. You got to play up like the whole freaking premise.
Yeah, they didn't play up the Hood that much. No. There was one good scene where I thought they were going that way, where the Leprechaun meets with Mac Daddy, Ice-T's character, and he exchanged some weed with him, and he's like, "Nice blend." Like it was, it's like that was cool. I was like, okay, they're gonna go down this road now, but they never really followed through.
Yeah, it like you said, it's good parts, but it lulls to those parts and stuff like that. So you're just watching it and you're like, when's it gonna happen?
Right. So. I was expecting coming into it to see like scenes where almost the fish out of water scenario. Like he ends up with some like guys in a gang. He ends up in like the whole like everything you would expect from this type of movie. Like all those things. Like he ends up in a like a lowrider that's bouncing or something, but they never follow through. It's hardly in the hood if you think about it. It's
always inside.
It's always inside of like a club or a house or something. So they never really take advantage of the premise.
No.
So yeah, it did fall a little flat. So what would be the overall rating for you then?
I have to give it like a 2.
Yeah.
It's not the premise. They didn't play up the premise.
Yeah.
There's not enough jokes. You should have had like the freaking Leprechaun like having a bunch of gold chains and all this stuff. It's Leprechaun in the Hood, and people be like, "Well, that's offensive." It's Leprechaun in the Hood.
Yeah.
If you're gonna call it that, like play to the premise. So there's good parts here and there, but as a whole, it's just like meh. Whatever. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's a 2. It was just kind of meh. I mean, there's another one after this, Back to the Hood. The trailer looks a little better, so maybe they did decide to go a little crazy with it. I hope so. But yeah, at this point in the franchise, Leprechaun is basically a comedy series. And I was saying before, same thing kind of happened with Nightmare on Elm Street and Freddy Krueger. The first one was serious, kind of old school 80s horror or whatever. And as it went on, it became more wisecracking, more this, more that, a lot more comedy. Mm-hmm. And which is, I guess for Leprechaun, it makes a little more sense. So
it does. It's a little guy running around in a little green top hat killing people.
So I feel like if you're gonna go that route, if you're gonna go from horror to horror comedy, then you might as well just play off the premises, go crazy, and it'd be better.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I don't know what else to say about it. We tried.
We did try. I mean, it was hyped up like, oh man, you got to see this, but then you see it and you're like, eh.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, Leprechaun in the Hood. Peace.
Deuces.
If you want to help us thrive, please be sure to like and subscribe.
It should hit you up to make the sequel to Back to the Hood 2, Leprechaun Back to the Hood 2. Boom, you got it, Joe. There you go.
There you go.